In North Richland Hills, which was the fire department I worked for before I came to McKinney, I had the privilege of serving as their chaplain.
Okay.
And so I started going to seminary at Southwest Baptist Theological Seminary.
On your own?
On my own.
Okay.
And so that was kind of the start of it all. And so I was at North Richland Hills for several years. Loved it, great city to work for. But I had lived in McKinney. Grew up in Richardson, had lived in Plano, and then McKinney, and this was kind of my area. So when I heard about McKinney having an opening and hiring a bunch of guys, I didn't really want to leave. I didn't want to start over, but I just felt God really nudging me that that's what He wanted me to do. So I prayed about it and just took the next step and just kind of progressed through the process, and I got hired on at McKinney. So when I came to McKinney, I focused on being a new guy and kept my head down and did my job. But the Lord showed me a ministry and a need, and I really felt led to start a Bible study. We had a public safety chaplain for the fire department for several years who did a phenomenal job. In his absence, there was a huge void. The biggest capacity was really in service and ministry to the citizens, being called out on different calls by fire and police to minister to families in the event of a death of a family member.
So this was a combined police and fire
yes.
chaplain. Okay.
It was a public safety chaplain. I had a battalion chief approach me and said, would you put together what your vision is for the chaplain program? And we could present it to the chief.
Why?
And so I really dedicated myself to prayer for a month, and at the end of that month, I kind of had a skeleton of what I think the chaplain program should look like. It involves three major components. The first one would be ministry to the firefighters and their families. The second component would be ministry to the citizens, and that's by far the most active component of the chaplain program right now. And then the third main component would be major disaster stuff, like big picture, like Moore, Oklahoma kind of stuff, and to fit in and plug into our emergency management system. The idea would be to kind of train and coordinate that effort through the chaplain program to how we could help and respond
and your support of that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, within our city. So those would be the three major components of the program. One component of the chaplain program for McKinney is having an on-call chaplain that can respond to an unattended death, to whatever the need is on scene. Well, trying to fill that myself is very challenging. So, you go on a call, and as kind of type A personalities, we're fix-it kind of people, and you show up and somebody is deceased and there's nothing you can do. So generally what we do is once we get called out, we confirm that the patient is indeed deceased, and then we notify the family that there's nothing we can do, and we leave. But that's a tough thing to walk away from sometimes, because you're leaving the family with horrible news and there's nothing that they can do. And there's nothing you can do to help them or comfort them. So oftentimes you can get a lot of peace by calling a chaplain. To at least you have peace of mind to know that a chaplain came out, he's going to be with the family for as long as they need support and help them through this time in their life. So our ministry is called Victim Relief Ministry, and their real ministry is to help the victims of violent crime and help victims of disaster or tragedy, basically. They are chaplains for the Dallas Police Department. They have 40 chaplains right out with the DPD every week. He's got chaplains that are trained and ready. So he's got 15 chaplains in McKinney that will come sign up for a day to be on call. And it might be the victim of homicide. Somebody in their family was murdered. They come along and they help these people just through life and help them in various ways. There's a lot I can learn from those guys. Gray-haired guys, and been in ministry for a long time and are very good at what they do and know how to they've seen a lot of different situations. And In June, I got transferred to Station 4, which is off of Industrial, just past Airport Boulevard, on the far east side of town. Station 4 is the station that has the airport, Collin County Regional Airport, and so we have a ARFF truck, which is a aircraft crash rescue truck, and we have an engine out there. It's a really fun district to work in because you get a big variety. So and you get the county. So we have New Hope and all the fires out in the county, grass fires and structure fires and stuff. Engine 4 goes on. So my first shift driving the crash truck, I was working a different shift. The engine had just gone to the grocery store, and there is a pre-alert that the airport, the tower, will actually send an alarm that activates directly into Station 4, and it is extremely loud. And the engine had gone to the store. The guy on the crash truck cleans the firehouse, so I cleaned the station. I settled into doing some studying, and I was busy reading and working on school, and the alert went off from the airport. And I thought for a second that maybe the guys were messing with me because it was my first shift driving that crash truck. But it turned out to be a plane that had gone down about 2 miles south of the airfield, and so it was a good learning experience.
So you.
Once I became ordained, I had a lot of requests. I've married several of the firemen, and just kind of been there to help.
It's got to be a lot of fun.
It's a blast. Oh, it's great. So I married another guy's sister about a year ago, which my son had trouble with. He didn't understand that I was marrying somebody else, but so I explained I was officiating the wedding. So
you're going to a wedding,
yes,
not your wedding.
Yeah. He said, well, Dad, why are you going to a wedding? I said, well, Dad's marrying him. What? What about Mom? That's what he said.
If you think you have a story to tell, send me an email. But I have to tell you up front, it better be good.